it's Nikki Jensen
and Brie Piccone.
And we're Late to the Party, a weekly podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture from two best friends mentally letting them eat cake in 2006.
She doesn't even go here.
Yesterday I did Gucci, and today Fendi, so
it's hot. Today we are talking about Sofia Coppola's Marie Antoinette.
Yes.
Which is like the ultimate fashion film.
I think so, yeah. It's gorgeous. It looks like a Vogue cover shoot. And isn't it? They did a shoot as well.
They did a really seminal, to me, Vogue shoot with Kirsten Dunst's Marie Antoinette. And then they also, either they had a spread or they did a lot of promo in Teen Vogue. And I remember that being my introductory into fashion.
Yeah. I remember
with
Teen
an
Vogue.
F. Yeah. Remember the glory days of Teen Vogue?
Yeah.
2006 to 2010 Teen Vogue was just...
I think Elle Fanning had a good cover on there, from what I remember.
Another Sofia Coppola girly.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there were so many good covers. I feel like I remember seeing... who was it? I feel like this is really low energy, by the way, but whatever. This is very,
so good.
Sofia Coppola. I swear I'm excited. I'm just extremely tired and have slept the whole entire day.
It's okay. I mean, me too. We both weren't feeling well for different reasons earlier today.
It's because we raged yesterday going to see the Eras Tour movie.
Yes. No, we went pretty hard. And by hard, I mean...
Not that hard, but it was 3 hours, so...
We went to the late night showing, the 9:30. That was the latest showing.
Which, note to self...
Yeah.
We have to pre-game. We have to have Red Bulls in us or something.
Oh, yeah.
So if we go to see Beyonce Renaissance Tour movie, we either have to see an earlier showing, old fogies, or we have to caffeinate, have a Beyonce twerk playlist ready.
You know what I mean? Hype.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel if we went to see Beyonce's tour in the theater, I feel that would be a little more lit than Taylor Swift, just because her music isn't as danceable.
I would say yes, but have you seen those internet photos on Twitter and TikTok of people just going feral at the movie theater for the Eras Tour, standing up, the Willow scene in the Evermore era where they're with the lanterns and acting like they're in the Crucible.
Oh my god, yeah.
But in the theater, there's these deranged Swifties just hand in hand, they're doing a
seance or not
sacrifice or something. Yeah.
I see, and I thought there'd be more of that. I mean, we did get to see the front row, in the theater we went to, there was a front row of older ladies who got up to dance to Shake It Off.
Just Shake It Off. They when you see Mamma Mia off Broadway, and there's always I love how I've seen Mamma Mia enough times.
I know,
to be
so
the old ladies in the front just like up and act like it's an ABBA concert for their chosen songs.
They're woo,
Take a Chance on Me, probably.
Yeah,
it's the elderly anthem.
They were really shaking it off hard. I was whoa.
So hard. And then they sat right back down.
They did. Yeah. It's kind of sad. They were the only ones that really got that excited. I thought you saw a lot of children there. Just a little disturbing to me. But
why was it disturbing?
I don't know.
Taylor Swift and children kind of are she's the safe pick.
Yeah. Maybe you're right. I guess it just makes me feel old because I'm I'm not a child.
Well, it's crazy, the discrepancy. As soon as we walked into the movie theater, this lady... Well, okay. This is
let's paint the picture.
Let's paint the picture. Also, this year, because we are going to talk about Marie Antoinette and Sofia Coppola eventually.
Yeah.
And with the release of Sofia Coppola's archive...
Ooh.
Which I want so bad. I have not gotten my grubby little mitts on it yet, but I will. with that release, and then Priscilla later this month.
So excited for Priscilla, by the way.
Same.
Did you see the trailer?
Yes.
The official trailer.
I'm so excited. And I'm also so excited to see like Jacob Elordi on the big screen.
Yes. Oh my God. And he already looks like Elvis. Like he's perfect.
And I was so skeptical.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he doesn't look like Elvis in real life.
I think, well, I always thought though in Euphoria, he kind of had an Elvis, like his chin, like something about his, you know, those eyebrows.
Well, I'm a big Jacob Elordi fan.
Yeah.
And Sofia Coppola fan. So
Same.
just seeing those two and knowing that the Elvis estate is against this movie makes me like live for it.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. I thought the Elvis estate was run by Priscilla. No? Maybe
it is, but
because I thought she was, well, wait,
she's
hold on.
yes.
I'm
But
confused because we had that Elvis movie come out, the Baz Luhrmann one. That one was she approved of, right?
she approved, but also like I believe it's the Elvis estate. I believe there's like a yeah. Well, let's see.
It's because it's probably doesn't paint him in a good light. But also, didn't Sofia Coppola take Priscilla Presley's perspective? Like it was her documentary or her biography?
It's based on the book Elvis and Me.
Yeah.
Okay. Riley Keough, who, you know, was in, I always say it wrong. It's not Grace Jones in the Six. What? Daisy Jones in the Six.
Grace Jones in the Six.
Also, I
Like-
just want it to be about Grace Jones. Yeah, she did inherit the Elvis estate, but someone
Excuse me, sorry.
is like not happy. That's what I read. Like, hold on. Okay, so yeah, it is based on her 1985 memoir, Elvis and Me. But according to this Vulture article, she's really excited about the perspective, even though it's like difficult for her to watch. Okay, it's an unnamed Presley estate official who watched the film. And according to TMZ, said that the project was horrible and like a college movie, it's horrific.
Wow.
Yada, yada. So, someone in the estate.
Dang. They're haters. They're that.
Yeah. Which I'm sure it doesn't paint Elvis in a great light.
You can kind of tell by the trailer that it doesn't. So.
Yeah. Or just, but it's not really about Elvis. It's about Priscilla. So
Exactly. That's what I love about Sofia Coppola. She shows things from like the female perspective a lot. Like pretty much all her movies.
it's, well, the way Sofia Coppola, like her lens, it's through her lens, and it's a very unique just way she views the world because she's, you know, indoctrinated into directing like film royalty.
Yeah.
And she's a Nepo baby, but in like a way where she takes her experiences and her views of the world, and like, especially with Marie Antoinette, it's like the isolation.
Yes.
And it's just the way she views the world. It's really interesting. She's an auteur, my favorite auteur.
I love it. No, I love her. And I love that she explores like the idea of like girlhood. And yeah, isolation too is like a big theme for whatever reason. Like all these girls seem kind of isolated.
And perception. So how like in the Virgin Suicides, how the Lisbon sisters are portrayed, or like they're viewed by the boys.
Yeah.
It's someone from the outside kind of trying to look in and see what's in their mind.
Yeah.
And same with Marie Antoinette. It's not about outside circumstances. It's a very like inward experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cool. I don't know. Sofia Coppola is great.
Oh,
She,
yeah.
like,
But it's like the year of the girl. It was my point.
yeah.
Back to the Eras Tour movie experience.
Yes. Oh yeah, that's right. We gotta paint that picture.
Yeah.
So let's
rewind.
Let's rewind.
Take that, rewind it back, you know?
Yeah.
This year has been the year of the girl. We saw the Barbie movie. Everyone is now like dressing up, or like when in the summertime, everyone was wearing the friendship bracelets and going and paying like exorbitant amounts of money to go see Taylor Swift in person at the Eras Tour.
Which those tickets were so expensive.
So expensive. They didn't come anywhere near us.
I know. I kept checking.
Yeah. So I think like the closest place was Madison Square Garden. And we could have, but a lot of money. Sold out so fast. It was like the whole Ticketmaster fiasco.
I was gonna say, even these theater seats we had we went last night. So, I guess this would be we went on Friday the 13th. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Because it won't be last night when this comes out.
But it will be this is going to be a tighter turnaround. So we went last Friday. We can still say that.
Yeah. But we struggled to find seats because the tickets kept selling out.
Packed house.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, we walk in, and as soon as we walk in, this girl just stops us like there's a fire or something.
It was so great.
Just with the urgency.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, so when you get your like collectible cup, make sure to get the receipt and come back for the bucket because they're out. They're sold.
Yeah. She like stopped us. We literally had we didn't walk even fully in the door because she was like leaving and we were coming in, and it was like intense. And they had all these notes posted all throughout the theater. Like there was at least 20 just in that waiting area. It was like, we are so sorry for the inconvenience. The Taylor tubs did not come in as expected, but they will be here tomorrow. It was like 3 whole paragraphs. Like it was
and they were plastered everywhere, like every single door of the bathroom.
Yeah, it was a lot.
It was. And then we walk in, and Taylor Swift pretty much has only female fans, but of like varying ages.
Yeah.
The millennials relate to Taylor Swift and all her vigilante shenanigans.
Yeah.
And like sharp enough cat eye sharp enough to kill a man. Millennials love her, and she identifies heavily with that. So you get that group, you get like Gen Z, and then like little kids. We only got the little kids portion last night though.
Yeah, basically.
Very, very cute, but just like a bunch of 6-year-olds running around in like glittery boots. And
it was very like, we were talking about this too in the theater. It was very like Hannah Montana, The Experience.
Oh my God. That concert about no one did it better, Brie, than Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus, Best of Both Worlds.
Really? Why?
You were there. We talked about this last night. This was a moment for us where we bought into the pandemonium of Hannah Montana.
We did.
Because everyone did. And even if you said you didn't, you're lying. Full house. But so full. Like they overpacked us. We were in a big city. And we were standing up.
Yeah, we were like,
we bought tickets.
Like sardines.
Yeah. Like, but everyone was standing up. Like these little girls and us, older little girls, were just like thriving, having our best time.
And people dressed up, like wearing Hannah Montana merch. I think you could even buy something from the experience.
But pandemonium.
Yeah.
Like not just a bunch of like random 6-year-olds and some ladies, like the Mamma Mia crowd. Like our crowd was so tame, and they like clapped.
Oh yeah, it was so awkward too, because like they started clapping after every act, but it was like,
it's like no one can hear. I don't understand that. Like that's not really the point of.
Yeah, I get like moved to clap if you really feel something, but you can't do that after every, like if it's not a live performance. Why do people clap? Is it like obligatory? Like do they think someone's watching them and like the artist is gonna hear the clap somehow and know that they clapped? I
don't know. Like we were talking about this earlier. It's like I know with the writers and actors strike,
yeah,
we're not going to be getting as much like many movies to the theater.
Yeah,
but concert movies, it's not the way.
No.
However, I will be like front row and center to see the Renaissance.
Right. Yeah. No. I feel like that's different though. Like I feel like you could really tear it up in the aisles. Like that would be fun.
Yes.
Like,
but like tastefully tear it up.
Yeah. Of course.
And I think like Beyonce is going to do it in a more artistic manner. I feel like it wasn't like Madonna Truth or Dare. It was literally just the Eras tour. It was shot beautifully, but it wasn't. It was just like you were seeing all the clips that we see
that we've
on
already
TikTok.
Seen. Yeah, it just in crisper quality.
Yeah.
See, I thought it was going to be more artistic too, because the intro is artistic. You're coming in through the clouds, and there's like rainbow colored clouds. Like it's like very like aesthetic. Like it's pretty, and then you kind of go through Taylor Swift Eras tour, like almost like the WB, like Warner Brothers Harry Potter intro, like where you're like, or something, you're like flying in. And so I'm like, oh, this is going to be cool. We're going to get different shots. It's going to be like, they're adding animation to the, and they did this a little bit with transitions from one part of the set to the next, but it wasn't like enough to be that artsy and be like And there was nothing behind the scenes.
Nothing. It's just so interesting. I think, Taylor Swift is a very interesting person.
Yeah.
Because like all throughout the movie, I was thinking, I'm like, her lyrics, or she really shines. Like this concert really shows where she shines versus where she has like blind spots.
Yeah.
Like you go straight in and it's like Miss Americana and Cruel Summer, which best songs off Lover. But then you get The Man and You Need to Calm Down.
Yeah, I didn't expect those to be that soon in the set or even on the set. Because, I mean, while I like that song and I get she's making a statement, like, it just... And I liked her blazer.
Oh, her blazer slays with the boots.
Yeah. I don't know. But maybe, maybe for the gays. Because the gays love Taylor.
She doesn't
Don't
need to
they?
do...
Kind
They
of?
do
I don't know.
love Taylor. But I don't know. I don't think any...
I feel like she's really pushing the gay agenda.
But then she's not. I went through a Gaylor rabbit hole last night.
Yeah.
Because... Okay. So can we unpack this for a second?
Let's unpack.
Well, what I was going to say about The Man and You Need to Calm Down is it really shows where she she shines in her songwriting and lyricism when she is talking from her own experience.
Yeah.
When she is like, this is how I feel in this moment. When she does like the anthems, like Shake It Off works because it's very personal to her. Because she's like, this is what people say about me. Blank Space as well. But when she's doing it broader, it loses a lot of like songwriting technique, like lyricism. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah. It's like she can't do both.
She can't paint with like a wide brush. She
Yeah.
can only...
I hear you.
Which is fine. But yeah, it's just really glaringly obvious. But it's so cool how she can like command the stage when she's not doing like the choreography. When it's just like her, like even doing like Delicate in the Reputation era.
Yeah.
Or like Cruel Summer. It is so interesting how she can just command.
She can. And I felt like she had like so much confidence. I was inspired. I was like, wow, like this is so cool to see her up there just feeling herself. And like she doesn't have to be, I know people say like that she's not a great performer, but like I kind of disagree. I thought it was, she can't be Beyonce. She might not be able to dance that well. I thought her chair dancing was kind of cool though.
Yeah.
I thought she was actually kind of sexy.
Very Chicago.
Very Chicago. But I did like how she played to some of her strengths, which I think she does command a stage. And she also played with the set a lot. Like it felt like we were watching a play at some point, because we've seen plays like this too that are kind of modern where like the set changes.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it felt like
it's all like lighting and
yeah. It was like she was in a play and acting it out and had like her backup dancers as part of it too. And I thought that element was really cool. Like telling a story. Like I feel like she's maybe
really
like
great
you're
at
saying
that.
the personal songs, like telling the story with those was really
I
enjoyed.
Sure. I think it's so complicated though, like talking about Taylor Swift and being a Swiftie, but also kind of resenting Swifties.
Yeah.
Because it's like Taylor Swift is a very interesting person and a very smart person.
Yeah.
But also it's like we know so much about her through her lyrics, but then also know so little. Like it's so impersonal. That was like the glaring difference. It's like when she's playing like All Too Well 10-minute version, or even like the acoustic Our Song for this, like the secret songs.
Yeah.
You feel like you know her so well, or like a Tolerated or whatever. But then, or Champagne Problems, that was a highlight.
Yes.
But then she'll do other songs and it's like a wash of,
Look what you made me do.
Yeah, but it's like so impersonal. I feel like we don't know anything about Taylor Swift.
It's like we know everything and nothing. Yeah.
And because there's no like behind the scenes, or like we don't get to see.
She doesn't let us in.
She doesn't let us in that way. And then that was really interesting when we get to the midnight set. Listening to Lavender Haze which like I know she said was about Joe Alwyn and then took it down, that video. And she says she was inspired by Mad Men. I think that's bullshit.
Mad Men?
Yeah, they quote like lavender, like they say something about lavender haze if you're in love. But also like lavender haze.
Isn't that like something you smoke? Or
maybe.
I don't know. It sounds like it. I don't know. Don't look at me. I'm just saying what it sounds like.
But lavender is a very, like there's like in the gay community, like lavender.
I forgot about that. Yes.
But also she's addressing something that people, especially with this Travis Kelce thing, it just goes over the Hetlers' heads. It's like, how, I don't know, she talks about she doesn't want to be someone's bride. She doesn't want to do the 1950s shit.
Yeah.
And then it's funny because, well, no, I don't know if she's, I think her and Travis Kelce are a PR relationship. There is no way they're not.
Yeah.
It's odd.
Did you see the meme that was like, he looks like Forrest Gump and she looks like Jenny?
But it's so weird how certain people really want to project that onto her, but she's like letting us in with certain songs, letting us out. It's so weird, but we don't know anything about her. And I think that's where the Gaylor lore comes up, because everything feels so personal and impersonal, and it's this weird divide. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, you're right. We don't know like that much about her. Like we're left to read into things.
But then I think like Swifties read into the wrong things.
Yeah. It's like the Travis Kelce of it all.
Yeah, or it's like they really like push certain narratives, which is really fascinating.
Yeah. Well, hold on, because I'm thinking about a narrative, but I just want to fact check myself before I say something dumb.
Did you find it, Bri?
Yeah, it's just me mishearing things. And let's just forget about it and move on.
Wait, what was it?
No, just forget about it.
Wait, what was it?
No, we'll just forget about it. Let's just forget about it.
Why?
No, let's just
no
forget
fun.
about it.
What?
I'll tell you, but I might cut it out.
Yeah, just cut it out.
Yeah. Okay, so I totally misheard, and I was shook. I clutched my pearls because I thought Taylor said, what is the song she sings where she's like dressing for revenge? Is it better than revenge? No.
Vigilante shit?
The vigilante shit song. I thought she said, I don't fuck with women and I don't fuck with men. But like literally, I was like, oh snap. And I thought it was like kind of like a reference to being gay, but like choosing not to be with anyone. I don't know. I read into it and I think I misheard it because I was like, oh, she said the F word? I'm like, this is so bold.
I mean,
Chair
she has
dancing
said the F word, but
yeah, but like in that context, I don't know. I took it as a totally different context. Like,
I mean, songs are up for interpretation.
Yeah, I thought she was doing the Ally and AJ thing. You know, when they re-released Potential Breakup.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway,
no, I mean, what was I gonna say? I feel like I'm way too harsh. I feel like Swifties are gonna come after me.
They're gonna get you in your sleep.
But I feel like some Swifties must agree. I don't know. I think it's really weird. Like when people ask, like, I think there's an interview where they're like, what is your advice if you want to become a singer? And she's like, get a good lawyer. Like everything is kind of a business move to her.
It is. The way she wears that blazer too. She's a businesswoman.
For real. But it does seem like, and at the end with Mastermind, which I love that song, it does seem like this is her like after the Eras tour, is she gonna retire?
Do you think maybe because of her experience of like getting so much shit back in the day about like her relationship, whatever she's doing, like her personal life, like people just speaking on it, and you know, maybe she just doesn't want to give that up. Like maybe she is like a lawyer. She's like, oh, don't want to say anything to incriminate myself.
Maybe. I mean, it's so interesting too. Like anytime she's faced with criticism, like about, you know, taking her private jet and using all those like emissions and stuff, like she went to that Jets game, and now when you Google Taylor Swift jet, her and like Travis Kelce come up. So is she just playing with the Google search
SEO? It
kind of seems like it, and I don't know. I think
smart.
She does definitely bury the Diana Agron stuff, because that used to be really prevalent back in the day. Yeah, and there were whole articles that came out around that time, and then it was like Harry Styles. So it does feel like she's very calculated. I'm not saying she's gay. I definitely think we just don't know.
You're not saying she's not.
Truly.
Yeah.
Because everything seems like in her lyrics for some songs, especially like Folklore, Evermore, her, B-sides, like The Archer, something's very personal and she wants to express it.
Right.
But then there's other things where it just seems so like, what's the word? Do you know what I mean? Like something seems
like she just scratches the surface, but doesn't really get deep.
Well, it's like she's deflecting it.
Deflecting. Yeah, that's the word.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing. So I think ending with Mastermind is a very... If in a couple years we find out that like all of this, like all these songs that really relate, like I feel like we're going to end up being like kind of played by Taylor Swift because she's inviting a parasocial relationship in such a way that I'm like, I feel like all these Swifties, including me, that really resonate with her lyrics at a certain point, I just hope we don't get burned, basically.
And how so? Like, what do you mean? What do you think would come out? Like,
I don't know. Like, maybe it's all made up or...
I mean, she did say she was working on some characters.
It's true.
Like Evermore and stuff.
Folklore.
Or Folklore. Sorry. I get them confused. They're like, they're sister albums, basically. But
they are? But Evermore's
more
so personal.
Okay.
I don't know how much we can believe anything Taylor Swift says.
You're like, I don't believe any of this.
I don't know. It's just an interesting layer of skepticism. And I know on our last like episode speaking about Speak Now, Taylor's version, people were like, you just don't like understand her Easter egg she's been planting the whole time, which like I truly get. But I still stand by, I don't believe in 2010, 2009. She was like creating a Marvel Cinematic Universe in the way she is now.
Now, yeah.
Because there's a tide that turned when T-Pain became her person. So when she got in charge of PR, that's when the SEO started to change. I'm just saying, Swifties and we need to have a discourse.
Yeah.
But open it up because she is a mastermind. She's admitted that now. So
right.
I still love her and I'll still stand forever. But
you think she's up to something?
I think she's up to something. Or I just feel like, yeah, we've just scratched the surface with Taylor Swift. I think she contains a lot of multitudes.
So much more. So many secrets.
And I think people that really want her to be into like the 1950s shit and so like her and Travis Kelce are like meant to be really need to grow the fuck up. Because they're really stuck in this like really heteronormative narrative.
Yeah.
And that kind of bothers me, but whatever.
I love how like you like are much more of a gay, I think, even than me.
Yeah, why? Why is this?
I think it's funny though. But
I don't know. I think it's so much more interesting.
Yeah, I will say I do feel like it's boring. And I don't really like Travis Kelce. I don't really believe it. I don't know. It's hard to believe. It's just too easy. Like it just seems too man-made.
It really does.
I don't know, it's weird.
And also it's like, I don't know, I would have loved a different narrative for Taylor Swift with the whole Karlie Kloss situation. Like I feel like maybe if they weren't in a relationship, I don't know, I think it would be more interesting, and maybe I'm projecting, but like for Taylor Swift to kind of like, it did seem like during that time she was like at least secretly in love with her best friend or like had some feelings. And that's interesting. But then to wash it away, I feel like people like, I don't know if it's her PR or people or her, maybe I'm reading, like wash everything nuanced like, about her away.
No, it's like scrubbed from the internet.
Yeah.
To recreate this other narrative. Travis Kelce is, all the other history shall be erased now.
I know, her and Harry Styles and Travis Kelce, and that's all.
That's it, yeah.
Sorry. I don't know, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Anyway, no, it's okay. I'm just not sure where to go from here. I guess the Eras Tour.
What was your favorite era?
My favorite, well, in the tour, I will say probably Folklore Evermore. Like I love when she was like with the witches and like
For Willow.
dancing in circles. And I love the orange dress she was wearing. I love that she had a cloak on. Like I love that they like looked like they were doing like some spells in the middle of the woods. I love the cabin that she was in, and I loved how it was like kind of cottagecore. So that's probably my favorite part. And I loved when she did the chair dancing. Yeah,
I agree. No, Folklore Evermore, that was the coolest part to see. 2 albums where I think even she mentions it, like you wouldn't think would translate to like a big stadium tour, but somehow it does. It's just so cool.
it does. Yeah, no, it was really cool the way they used the set and stuff. And I was confused though why there wasn't any more songs from Speak Now like in that set.
Yeah.
Was it Enchanted?
Yep, just
That
Enchanted.
was it. Which I mean, she looked pretty. I like the dress, but like I thought there'd be more.
I know like Long Live was cut out. There were a couple more songs that were cut out, but
Yeah.
I enjoyed Folklore and Evermore, and I loved Reputation.
Yes, I actually enjoyed like her Roberto Cavalli, the one-legged jumpsuit. I thought she rocked that with the snakes. Like it's, you know, very on the nose, but kind of cool. Like really fun.
It really instills. It doesn't translate as well as just seeing her move through the set with it. It's very cool. And as far as costume goes, I loved that, but I also loved the Versace like lover era,
Yeah.
just like bodysuit,
Yeah.
like leotard situation.
No, I loved like the majority of her leotards.
I liked the first one. I liked that like the Versace like multicolored bedazzle. I liked that a lot. The Folklore like white dress was really cool too.
Yeah.
Just the way that moves.
Yeah. I'm trying to think what else.
Oh yeah, I found out little girls from the bathroom, like little 6-year-old, really love Bad Blood's a classic.
Bad Blood's a classic.
And their favorite song was Paper Rings, which I'm like, I know this film experience is not where I'm going to relate. Not that I can relate to 6-year-olds anyways,
Yeah.
but this is no Hannah Montana concert experience.
We're not all unified.
We're not
by
unified.
Best of both worlds.
No,
I don't even remember what else Hannah Montana sang, to be honest.
me neither, but
But when that song came on, we all rose up out of our
yes.
seats. Or
Whenever she sang anything, we were just like living.
yeah.
I feel like our crowd was only living for certain Taylor Swift moments.
Yeah. Shake it off.
Just shake it off. And Bad Blood, which I'm like, all right.
I like that she included the 10-minute version of All Too Well. That was cool.
Same. I mean, naturally. How could you
How
not?
could you not? Yeah.
Yeah. I even loved the midnight set, the midnight era.
Yeah. Midnight's just cool.
It was cool. I loved what was the song?
She did.
I loved
Bejeweled.
Antihero.
Oh,
Antihero.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
She had the giant Bert and Ernie outfit. in the
Yes.
background. Oh. Yeah. I mean, I do feel like it was like 3 hours, but it wasn't too, like, it didn't feel too bad, like too lengthy. I didn't realize how many albums she was going to be covering. Like I don't know. There's a part of me that wishes it was a little longer just because I'm like, oh, we only scratched the surface. Like she was a little selective which ones she focused on, I felt.
For sure. I will say I would have loved to see more of like a behind the scenes. I would have loved to get like gotten to know Taylor.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like that part is a little lacking because you're like, oh, she's up there. She's untouchable. Like when she does that thing where she like points to the crowd and this side and they're like, woo. And then she's like,
I feel like a mastermind.
yeah.
Which is cool. Okay. And I know Miss Americana, the documentary, we get an inside look to Taylor.
That's true.
But I want to see her now because now we know Midnight's is a breakup album. And I feel like, yeah, she's changed in 4 years. And
right. We need to see more of Taylor.
I want to see her
Let us
now.
in.
I want to know if she's going to really pivot after all the Eras tours and be a director. And
Oh, yeah.
because in one article I was reading, someone was like, yeah, she's like the next Steven Spielberg, which I'm like, whoa, it's high praise. But like, I wonder if she is going to retire because when she sings Mastermind, it just came to me in like an epiphany. What if this is like her stopping point?
Oh, maybe.
Because she's doing the Eras tour and she's playing with public persona so much. I'm like, is this a stopping?
Maybe. Also, if she's a mastermind, that would be a great thing to be. Like, as a director, you have to kind of be a mastermind and kind of plan things out and make them happen.
Create these worlds.
Create the worlds. Yeah.
Like Sofia Coppola.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nice transition.
So yeah, do you want to just get into Marie Antoinette?
Yeah.
This week we did watch Marie Antoinette, which, how does this rank on your Sofia Coppola favorites list?
Oh my goodness. I haven't, so I just, full disclosure, have not seen all of Sofia Coppola's. Like, I haven't seen The Beguiled and I haven't seen Somewhere either. But from what I have seen, Lost in Translation's got to be first for me. I have a love for that movie, but I also, like, visually and stylistically, I love the story. Like, I just feel so connected to that film, and I think she just does such a good job with it. That's got to be, for me, number one. I really enjoy Marie Antoinette, so it's like, I don't know, it's a tie between that and Virgin Suicides, and then The Bling Ring, which I still enjoy, but The Bling Ring's probably at the bottom for me.
Yeah.
It's not, I don't know if it's just because it's not as stylized. I don't know what it is, but like,
I feel like 10 years on, The Bling Ring deserves a revisit.
yeah. I mean, I still think it's a good movie. I just, something about Marie Antoinette too, like how she plays with like it's kind of like a period piece, but it's like kind of modern and kind of like its own, it's very whimsical.
Yeah, I definitely think it has the greatest soundtrack of all time.
Yeah, the soundtrack. What about you? How would you rank?
Lost in Translation is my favorite Sofia Coppola. It's just, I watched it again the other day. It's just, it hits every time. I think it's a perfect movie. I think it does exemplify like Sofia Coppola's vision, and it's her directing, like, style, everything. It just encapsulates it so well. Also her use of soundtrack, it's amazing there. I like, my favorite scene in Lost in Translation is when they do karaoke. Yes. And it's just like the little things Bill Murray does and Scarlett Johansson. It's just like little things with a look, a little, like, she creates a vibe.
She does.
Too, like,
that's what she does. She creates a vibe. It sounds superficial to say, but it's so much, it's like,
but it's like all the little things. I think even with Marie Antoinette, it's like the little things that mean the most.
Like the Converse that snuck in there.
The Converse. Well, yeah. That like Roman Coppola.
Yeah, technically that was Roman, but she kept it in.
Yeah.
That was a choice.
Yeah. But like when I'm kind of thinking more, I guess, in set design for sure. Like in the Virgin Suicides, how it's always like a mess. Like the vanities, you know, like the little details, or the fixation the Virgin Suicides with when Kirsten Dunst, his Lux, likes a guy, she writes his name on her underwear, and
okay, yeah,
she's very fixated on that,
like specific things to specific characters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like the obsession with keys and locks.
Yes.
Like for King Louis.
Yeah, or even in a way like Marie Antoinette, instead of having jewelry, just wears like a ribbon around her neck, which is like a very modern take on that time period, but also kind of signifies that Marie Antoinette was only 14.
Yeah,
like she was very, very young, and just, it's like one of those little just details.
Gotcha. Yeah, the details.
It's like the little things end up being big things, and I think getting Lost in Translation, Scarlett Johansson's character, it's all about the little things that her husband, played by Giovanni Ribisi, just completely ignores. And it's just cool.
Yeah. How
she can convey that without saying a word.
I love that. I love how she can convey things without saying a word. That's one of my favorite things. Like, if you can, like, if something can come across for the viewers to understand without the need for dialogue, I think that's really cool. I don't know. Like in this movie, I love the scenes like in the beginning where she just gets, like, where Marie Antoinette gets to Versailles and there's just a line of people and it's just dead quiet. And they're judging her, and you can just feel it. Like, you feel like you're in the scene. Like, she knows where to put music in and where to take it out. And
yeah,
I don't know.
She knows how to make a film.
She knows how to make a film, and she should. I mean,
you would think that like someone like Francis Ford Coppola was her father or something.
I know, it's crazy,
wild. But yeah, this is her third feature film. Some people say this is a trilogy, her like Girlhood trilogy.
How?
Well, the Virgin Suicides, Lost in Translation, and Marie Antoinette have very specific themes around them that pertain to girlhood, pertain to girls staring out car windows.
Actually, yeah, there is always like a car window scene, and either you're just staring or your hand might do one of these.
But yeah, it's all about like their identity and their place in this world.
Yeah.
Especially Marie Antoinette.
Especially.
Like that's on a bigger level for sure.
Yeah.
Speaking of the trilogy though, she says, when I finished this movie, I definitely looked at that there's a connection between the themes of my films. I feel like this is sort of the final chapter of something I was working on. It's the next step of Girl's evolution from Lost in Translation, where she's on the verge of trying to find her identity. I feel like the story is her going from a girl into a woman. So for me, that's a connection. Is this a trilogy of sorts?
Huh.
Is this a trilogy of sorts?
I don't know. Maybe. I mean, there are parallels for sure. Like, all these girls have some type of boredom that they're dealing with. They're isolated. They're staring at windows. Yeah, they got the ennui. I forgot about the ennui. Yeah. It's just, I think it's an interesting observation for sure.
It's definitely like no one understands them. Even like the Lisbon sisters. They don't feel like people get them.
And I wonder if that's like Sofia also, like from her own life, like feeling kind of isolated because just growing up on a film set of sorts. You know what I mean? Like, I don't exactly know what it was like all the time, but I know she spent a lot of time on set with her dad.
Yeah. She grew up on film sets.
Yeah.
And then she ended up being in The Godfather, her favorite movie.
Which that's so interesting because she got shit for that performance. But now people can't say anything because she's a successful director.
I know. Well, she found her calling for sure.
She did.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's not like a trilogy in the sense that, like, speaking of The Godfather, it's not like that, but there are definitely parallels, like you said.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It's kind of hard to be like it's a trilogy because they are all different stories, but they have a lot of the same themes.
For sure. I feel like she's, like she said in her quote, she's kind of exploring these themes. And she always does.
She was also writing Marie Antoinette at the same time she was writing Lost in Translation, like taking breaks. Like when she was like uninspired or at a block with one, she'd start working on the other one.
Yeah, Marie Antoinette is based on a book and she had writer's block. So during that time, she did Lost in Translation.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
Gotta have something else going on to keep you busy, I guess.
For sure. But also so relatable, like having like a creative block.
True. Did you know this was booed at the Cannes Film Festival? Am I saying it right? Cannes? Is it Cannes?
I mean, we as Americans say can. But yep, it was booed. They did get to film at Versailles though, so I'm sure like that probably evens out as far as like public reception from the French. Like, yes, it was booed, but also they got to film at Versailles.
Yeah, it's like, oh, what do you want? You know,
Yeah.
How much accuracy do you need too? Like, so what Kirsten did, she didn't have a French accent. Maybe it's better that she didn't, or like, you know, maybe it would be an Austrian accent, but still, like, maybe it's better she just.
Well, this is not a period piece in the traditional sense, which is very cool, but not very like of the context of 2006. I don't think we
weren't ready.
We weren't ready, or we weren't like exposed to that because there are very like modern elements like the soundtrack and costuming to a certain degree and like the casting.
Yeah,
it's so modern. And I think maybe people thought it was a period piece. I know it didn't get like the best reviews. Like it was very positive to mixed.
I don't really like period films that much.
Same.
So, but this one I'm like, yes.
I don't like period pieces typically. And I feel like this was the one that broke me. Like it was like, oh, I can finally relate.
Yeah, for sure. Also, it laid a lot of groundwork like for like other films to kind of do something similar, like Great Gatsby. Like they kind of use modern music and it's not completely accurate. I don't know if that's based on a real person though. Maybe not that one. There's another one.
I feel like Baz Luhrmann does a very similar.
Maybe Elvis. Elvis is a real person.
Yes. No, I feel like Baz Luhrmann is kind of working with the same toolkit that Sofia Coppola is. They are kind of running parallel though. I don't know if Baz is like directly influenced by Coppola.
Yeah.
But yes.
You're saying, okay, just like the way he uses music and things, like not a traditional like.
Yeah.
Like the way he did Moulin Rouge was kind of out there, like.
So he's going on his path, and I feel like Sofia Coppola is going on her like more auteur, like indie, I guess, path.
Yeah.
Like I would more like say like Wes Anderson and Sofia Coppola are a little more similar, even though Wes Anderson doesn't do like period stuff like Coppola does. But maybe if you combine like a Wes Anderson and Baz Luhrmann.
Sofia Coppola's in the middle.
So yeah.
Yeah. This movie did make me think of Wes Anderson a bit because there's a lot of scenes that are like symmetrical where like Marie Antoinette's in the middle, or like the color palette a little bit, you know, the lighter pastel-y colors.
It's giving a little Moonrise Kingdom.
It is, yeah.
Grand Budapest Hotel would be a better example.
Yeah.
But that's because Milena Canarino, she did the costume design for Marie Antoinette and the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, shoot.
Which, for both of those, she won Best Costume Design at the Oscars.
Well deserved.
She also did Barry Lyndon for Stanley Kubrick, but
she's established.
Yeah.
No, I love the costumes in this movie.
Same. I think they're so cool and do a really good job of telling the story.
I love the like palette, like the candy coated palette, and I guess Sophia had like a box of macaroons and was like, I want them to look like this, like macarons.
It definitely looks like one of those like lottery, like assorted boxes of macarons.
I like it. I like how it's so like, it feels fresh and like bright and kind of poppy and like kind of they're kind of happy colors when you think about it. Like this world that's created, even like the set, like kind of complements the dresses and everything. And it's like you want to be there.
Yes.
You want to eat some of that cake and just, I don't know. I've never wanted to dress up in like one of those crazy dresses so much in my life. Like,
I know.
Poofy.
It like doesn't like seem stuffy.
Yes.
Like it definitely takes the youthfulness of Marie Antoinette and plays that up like with like the ruffles and.
Yeah, and I heard they they dialed it back as far as that stuff, like the ruffles and like obviously there are some dresses that are still pretty big, but it's not as probably heavy and ornate, which I think is fine.
I think that really adds something to it. It's like an interesting spin as well. It's not historically accurate, but it is it is enough.
It's enough. Yeah, it's accurate enough to take you to another place and another time so you can imagine, but it's also like dreamy enough like that you can get lost, I think, in the story. And then like it is kind of a fun story, like as much as it's, I mean, Marie Antoinette goes through things and like, you know, eventually she gets beheaded even though it's not shown. It's like, yeah. I feel like this movie's a bit of an escape to a degree, you know, until things get real. Like I feel like,
well, she definitely goes through 4 phases of Marie Antoinette.
Yeah.
Where like it's like the early years where she comes from Austria to Versailles. And in a lot of those scenes, it's like very played up, very colorful and like youthful. And also, what do you think about the scenes where they're undressing her? Like that.
Oh, just that scene in general where, or
well, there's a couple scenes.
There are a couple. Like the first one is like, I think when she has to cross over and go to France and she's, I don't know, has to leave everything behind literally, like her clothes and her family and all that. But like just in general, like getting up in the morning and having people dress you and undress you, like that whole thing, that I think is crazy. I think she's right. That is ridiculous. Like I love that she says this is ridiculous.
Yeah, but I love how visually that like shows without saying a word, which Sofia Coppola does so well, just how vulnerable she is.
Yeah.
Like she's literally naked and people are putting all these dresses and all the French stuff on her.
Yeah, because she can't lift a finger.
But also it's like symbolic, you know?
Like how much is in her control.
Yes. And like the public getting to like view her because basically right away they're like, you need to
have a baby.
Have a dauphin.
Yeah.
France and Jason Schwartzman, Louis.
He's so awkward. I love him though.
Yeah, I love him. I love the cribs.
Yes.
Special feature.
I know. I wish that the way he was like speaking in that special feature, I wish that was the character in the movie. Like I really would have loved to see that.
Just being like, yo,
this is my crib.
I would have loved just Sofia Coppola to be like, yeah, let's break the wall a bit more and have it like, is it Louis the 16th, 15th?
I think it's the 15th.
But make him like a Jamie Kennedy in Malibu's Most Wanted. Really just blur those lines.
I think that would be a cool take, a really modern take on the film. Like, they could have really pushed it.
I know. Coppola's being so like delicate and like nuanced, and I think she should have really gone full like Jamie Kennedy.
I think so.
But yeah, no, they're trying to, you know, be like, you have to have a kid or you're not. This isn't real yet for Marie Antoinette.
Yeah, you haven't solidified your place in the in French society, I guess. Like, the people aren't going to respect you. And maybe there is, I don't know. I mean, was there a real chance that they could take away her title?
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, that people are viewing her. Well, that happens pretty much.
She gets like all the blame too, even though a lot of it is Louis.
True, but I feel like they're actually like literally viewing her. Like, you know, when they're in bed.
Yeah, that part's creepy. That's so weird. They're like animals in a zoo, basically.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I also love Steve Coogan as her like right-hand man. I feel like his role in this is very underrated, but I love that performance.
No, he's cool. I like him. She needs like a right-hand man, like someone to keep her straight, you know?
Yes. And Rip Torn is the king.
Love it.
But speaking back to the costume design, I want to know your thoughts on it, because just looking at the different phases of Marie Antoinette's like journey, like the early years and then the party years to the mother years and like the mourning time. Like morning, not the morning, but
yeah, the morning, like the darker colors. Yeah. I liked how they used color to convey that a bit. Or, I mean, I liked the costumes too when she stripped down a bit more in her. It's like a cottagecore vibe where she's like, I don't know if it's on the palace or if she leaves the palace. It's in this nebulous like grassy field, and she has
garden.
It's like a garden, yeah. And she has like chickens and stuff. I liked that. I like seeing her go through the phases. I think it makes sense. I think it helps time pass, even though I do get confused because it feels like she doesn't age. She still looks kind of the same.
Well, she's going from like what, 14 to maybe 20 something. So
yeah,
still very, very young. I think, speaking of like the motherhood times, did you clock the like pastel grunge 15 years beforehand with her like pink hair and a flower crown?
Dude, I love the pink hair look. Like, that's one of my favorites actually. But yes, you're right. That is very pastel grunge.
Like Milena Canorino's like just That's So Raven ability to see through the future.
Yeah.
Like even now, right now, have you noticed all like the, I don't know what we're calling it, but all like the little ribbons and frilly stuff? Yes. Everyone now, every brand has a little bit of like that Sandy Liang like ribbon to it, or like a little girlish flair.
Oh.
So yeah, like that's like a thing right now, which I feel like is very Marie Antoinette coded.
That is.
What are some scenes that really stood out to you?
I would say the I Want Candy scene. Like,
it's iconic.
Yeah. You can't not think of that with this movie. I don't know. It's a fun little montage, you know. She's picking out her shoes. The Chuck Taylors, that's a cool, I don't know. I think it's cool that they decided to keep that in the film.
It's great. I think it's genius.
I do too. Like, some people like it's like you either love it or hate it. But I think it's genius. Like, it's more about a vibe, really.
Oh yeah, and it's about like playing with the different time periods, and it's a gateway to, like we were talking about before, like I don't like period pieces typically,
yeah,
but this is a way in, and I feel like the Converse is like a cheeky way into this world where you're like in it because of all these signifiers that, you know, you in 2006 or you in 2022 can kind of relate to as well.
Yeah,
it breaks down the barriers.
It does. No, it breaks down the barriers. It's just very cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
It's also, something can just be cool.
Yeah, can't things just be cool?
They can.
I think so. But I love that whole scene. I love like all the like fruit and like desserts, like even just those scenes, like where it cuts between that and her like doing a little dance with the shoes. And I didn't know they were Manolo Blahniks.
Yes.
That is also really awesome.
Yes. Carrie Bradshaw, who?
I know.
I love the I Want Candy, like the usage of that song too. I love the Bow Wow Wow, you know,
Yes.
on the soundtrack. But also, as soon as Rose Byrne enters the chat, like, you know, as soon as the opera scene comes on, she's about to be lit. Like, it's about to be lit.
Yes.
Like,
I love
she
seeing
adds
her.
so much to this.
I love Rose Byrne.
I also love like the Jamie Dornan character and like the Tom Hardy little cameo before he was on and popping.
Oh,
I just love like seeing them.
that is cool. I know. I love the cameos. Molly Shannon.
Yeah.
Which, did you know that she had her doctor like induce labor so that she could film this?
Really?
Yeah. No, I have a quote. But she was pregnant with her son, and her agent called, and the agent said, Sofia Coppola wants you to be in some movies, but it's in Paris, so we said you're not available. So Molly Shannon said, what? You did what? And then she told her OBGYN, hey, there's this movie I'm dying to do, but I have to be in Paris. And she said, when do you need to be there? I'll induce you, and we'll make this happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but I guess Sophia didn't know till after the fact, and she's like, I still can't believe you did that. Like,
That's really cool.
I don't know. I mean, I would too, though. I mean, if you have the opportunity to
Do it.
and I also love Molly Shannon.
I love a good Molly Shannon appearance.
Yeah.
Like this and Serendipity. Just love seeing her.
Same.
I love in that I want Candy scene. So it's like her indulgence and all the decadent stuff is like her coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Like she's just spending and spending and spending
That's so relatable
to
too.
cope. Yeah.
Like, who doesn't? It's like retail therapy. Like, yes.
Yeah.
We can relate.
For real. But yeah, I love her party years the best. I love when her and just Rose Byrne's character are living it up. I love when they go to the masked ball.
Yes.
And it's giving like the Vogue Paris 90th anniversary ball meets Eyes Wide Shut, just like the mask. I love the use of Hong Kong Garden by Susie and the Banshees too.
Yes. I mean, I even liked a lot of the scenes that were just quiet and just portrayed the moment. Like the one scene where she's like in the boat with the girls. Like, they're just kind of like the leisurely scenes, I guess, where nothing's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
Or the carriage ride where she's just looking out the window. And
I love when they go to see the sunrise and they're just like laying there and it's
yeah.
It's like these moments of like, it's the juxtaposition of like those party decadent like opulent moments and then the very quiet moments that I think really make this film unique.
Yeah.
I also love like the use of like a Susie and the Banshee song or Bow Wow Wow because it reminds me of like I like an Adam Ant.
Right.
Like the 80s that had the influence of the 1800s.
Which she was like, that's so smart too. Like, Sofia Coppola is so smart.
Oh yeah, and it's like so in like Gen X fashion to be really inspired by Adam Ant, but it's really cool. I like that.
I agree.
Like, you can say what you want about Sofia Coppola, but she has good taste.
No, she does.
I feel like this movie is also about Marie Antoinette's taste, but also Sofia Coppola's taste. Like, this movie in the past 15 years has really defined a lot of things. Like, we were talking about fashion or like use of a soundtrack, and just it's one of those movies that I think's really informed a lot. And
I agree. I love the scene where she's like running down the hallway and the Strokes are playing.
yeah, whatever happened from Room on Fire.
Yeah. Like, it just, I don't know, it just does something to you.
Same, but it's like perfect. It's the perfect song choice. Like, do you have any thoughts on the soundtrack? Because it is very unique. Like, even still.
Yeah. And I love that, like, how she selected it, like, kind of, and making it like a mixtape. And I love that it is kind of personal to her, because she said she like grew up listening to like Adam Ant and stuff, and there is that connection. But I think it's genius. I think it'd be really boring if it was gonna be just all like classical music. Like, there is some classical like in there, but it's like, I just think it's genius.
Well, in that IGN article, Coppola also said, I always like to start with the atmosphere and the tone and the look kind of first, and then the music and the story as much as I can without dialogue. I like trying to tell the story as much as you can with the expressions and the emotion. I even thought about doing it as a silent film at one point, which, could you imagine?
A silent film? That'd be crazy. Like, Well, I mean, maybe if the music was strong enough, possibly.
I think the music is strong enough. I also think this movie doesn't have like as much dialogue as the typical movie anyways. So
No.
it almost comes across as a music video for Marie Antoinette.
But see, I love that. Like,
Same.
I don't know. I feel like more films should be like that. But I don't know. I feel like I'm in the minority with that feeling.
Yeah, I mean,
I feel like when I talk to you, but I don't know.
I want everything to be a music video. I'm like a
Yeah.
sucker for that type of filmmaking anyways. I think that's why I love Sofia Coppola or like Spike Jonze so much, because they directed music videos first. And
Yes.
that sensibility, I think it's really cool. But I think some people want to be spoon-fed. I think it's like, to back to the Swifties argument, I think some people just want to hear like Shake It Off and The Man.
Yeah.
And they want to be like marveled.
Yeah.
And then
They don't want to really get into the deeper cuts.
yeah, no, I think like some people want to explore this world. Like it's two different people.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I also like just the way the story's told and that it's not exactly what you expect, because I feel like towards the end you feel like maybe you will witness the beheading, but they don't get into that. Like, I just like how it focuses on like her.
Yeah, like it focuses on her. Are you trying to say like it focuses on her inner world with showing like little bits
Yes.
of the outside?
That's what I'm that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because like, yeah, we do get some bits of like what's happening, but not really. Like, we don't really get into like all the politics of it. Like, it's very, brushed aside. And it seems like these characters are also brushing it aside. Like, even Louis is like, oh, I don't know, what should I do? Oh, you think I should do this? Okay, let's do that. Like, I don't know. You can very much tell that, like, it's just like really crazy that the weight of the world is like in their hands. Like,
Yes, and they're so
They're
young
so young.
and so disconnected.
yeah.
Because they're really just like stuck in the palace. Like they're just stuck in Versailles. And I think it's also interesting how literally outside of the doors there's like an uproar
Yeah.
and it just madness.
Yeah. And they're still like, oh, we'll just carry on with dinner as normal. Like, we're not leaving the palace.
But then there are moments where Marie Antoinette to Stephen Coogan's character are like, she's like, can you just debrief me? And he's like, you're not really listening. But she's like, just give me what I can comprehend, essentially.
Yeah. Essentially.
I also think it's crazy when Marie Antoinette comes out and everyone's out there basically with their pitchforks and she just like lays her head on the balcony.
Yeah. That part confused me though, because I feel like she's trying to say something or be like, I'm like, I don't know if it's supposed to be like, and I'm sorry, like, I'm here for you, like, I'm listening now. It seems like they rile themselves back up as soon as she like lifts her head up though. They're like, ah, like, it's like a brief moment of pause for the mobster or the mobbers, but
Yeah.
then they're like riled up again.
Do you have any thoughts on the let them eat cake? Because I love that scene where it's just like her in the bathtub being like, let them eat cake. And then she's with her girls and she's like, I never said that.
I love that. I mean, I think also this movie, when I saw it the first time around, it totally like blew my mind that like when I found out that never happened. Like, she never said let them eat cake. And I love how this movie exposes that, because I feel like we all think that, like, that's what you know about Marie Antoinette. She was beheaded.
Mm-hmm.
She wore giant wigs and she said let them eat cake.
Yes.
So it's wild. I like that they just, I don't know, addressed it. And I do like that part of the, like, that aspect of this film too, how they touch on her getting like really bad PR, because they talk about other like things that went, like, they said something about like Thomas Jefferson like having an affair with him or something. Like, there's like so many crazy like tabloid situations that this girl had to deal with, which is crazy to think of like at that time in like the 1800s or
Yeah. Well, and it's even crazier to think that like the propaganda machine, like especially with like the let them eat cake thing, lasted until the 21st century. It's been so long,
yeah.
yet that machine, that bad PR of Marie Antoinette still is like the stories we tell today. It still kind of holds weight, which is so interesting, and how the media or the public can create narratives.
It's really wild. I think too, like, because we've talked about this like several times, but like in the 2000s, like, I don't know how a lot of like female celebrities would get really bad PR and things would be taken out of context and misconstrued. Like, it's similar to that. So it's also interesting. Like, I just wonder if that also, like, at the time, like if Sofia Coppola is thinking about that or like influenced that, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this is an important thing to say. Like, yes, it was probably in the book as well, but
yes,
just to focus on it, like that, let that be addressed. And because I feel like there's probably, I haven't seen them because I don't watch period piece movies, but I'm sure there's other ones out there that are probably like cake or something.
Yeah. What was I? Oh, I was going to just say, I think that's an interesting thought about the 2000s, like It Girl.
Yeah.
And how we really love to see like the downfall of the It Girl. We love to see them rise, and we love to watch them come crashing down. And Marie Antoinette, we did the same thing to her just all those
she was the original
years ago. Yeah, she was like the OG It Girl.
No, just spending all the money.
Yes.
Oh, I feel like this movie is like underrated. Like, I'm really surprised by the, like, even now, like the tomato meter, it's just very mid. Like, even the audience score is kind of mid, and I'm like, oh. But I've seen a lot of like red tomatoes on. Like, a lot of people do love this movie, but I'm like, why don't more people love this movie?
See, like, and I know, at the time, and it got booed a can, but I've always really liked this movie and resonated with this movie. But I've also seen the influence it's made, and maybe it's just like my corner of the internet, but people love this movie so much.
Yeah.
From being a Tumblr girl to like now, it's iconic. It's one of the best fashion films of the last 20 years. And I think this movie is only going to get better with age. And it also like doesn't look like it came out in 2006.
No, when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, 2006? I thought it was like 2013 or something, but no. Like, because it just feels, I don't know.
Timeless.
It feels timeless, yeah.
I think this is one of the Sofia Coppola films that's going to have like the biggest impact.
I think it's going to stand out and last a little longer.
I think so, just because it changes the game as far as like a period piece. And you could argue that this trilogy, this Girlhood trilogy or whatever you want to call it, they're all period pieces, because they are.
They kind of are, yeah.
Yeah, the Virgin Suicides is 1970s Detroit. Lost in Translation is, I guess, 2000s.
Yeah, that one definitely feels more 2000s.
It's in the, I guess now you could call it a period piece. Then you couldn't. It's modern. It's still modern, so I don't know if that counts. Yeah. But then this is definitely.
It's just they had fax machines.
Yeah, that was maybe
in the hotels.
Yeah, that was the only thing. But like now it's a period piece because of that fax machine.
I think so. But they're all like so stylized, and I love that. Yeah. I don't know.
All of her films are perfect.
Yeah. I say 10 out of 10. I don't know. I really enjoyed this movie.
10 out of 10 Lauderie macarons.
10 out of 10 giant powdered wigs.
10 out of 10 pugs that she has to give away.
Mops, no.
Yes.
That was sad. That broke my heart a little that she couldn't even take the dog with her.
I know. 10 out of 10 Louis the 15th version of Cribs.
Yes, I loved that. Which I have just a couple extra fun facts that I wanted to share. For Marie Antoinette, Robert Smith wrote to his label so that the Cure songs could be used on the soundtrack for reduced royalties, and everyone took less money than they should because they wanted to be in the film. So I just think that is really cool.
It's iconic behavior.
Yeah.
Also, Sofia Coppola has the best music taste.
Right? What I've learned just from researching this film is that everyone, if Sophia's directing, they want to be a part of it. Molly Shannon, The Cure. Also, Jason Schwartzman, he made some sacrifices. He had to put on some weight, I guess, which honestly, I couldn't even really tell. I'm like, what? But anyway, how he did it was at 3 a.m. He set an alarm and ate a box of donuts and went back to bed. I just think that's really funny that he did that for this film. I don't know.
It's rad.
Yeah. So anyway, but it worked supposedly.
Yeah.
So yeah, the things people will do for Sofia Coppola.
Of course. And I think this is her second film with Kirsten Dunst. And they've had this like partnership and friendship.
That's right. I'm surprised we didn't talk about that at the top, but
yeah. Kirsten Dunst. Also, Kirsten Dunst in like, because we just watched for our episode of Podcast Like It's double features for the Patreon, his Patreon. We talked about Elizabethtown.
yes.
Which also stars Kirsten Dunst. 2005 to 2006, Kiki Dunst is like epitome to me. I love seeing her in those like late 2000s beanies. And I'm just really into that.
Yeah. No, I love Kiki Dunst.
Yeah.
I love her when she's in romantic comedies. I love seeing her in serious things. Like,
I love anything she's in.
yeah.
I love her relationship with Sofia Coppola. I think Sofia is able to bring out like just something in these actors.
Yes, it's like
Special.
there's depth. Like, not that, I don't know, there's some magic that happens. I don't know how else to explain it, but when they get together, some magic happens.
It's also cool seeing the behind the scenes of the masked ball because, you know, sometimes on set, the director, they choose not to play the actual song, and you can hear Hong Kong Guard in the background just to like give him an actual feel. I feel like in her films, there's ways she implements to like ground her actors.
Yeah,
that sets the tone.
I love how she's like yelling things from the side too. She's like, "Hey, this is why. Like, this is the reason behind this. Like, to help people get into character or something. If they're like, oh hey, like, you know, can you relate to anyone here? Like, you just arrived. Like, blah blah blah. Like, just helping build that world and just being right in it. Like, you can tell she's very hands on. I love seeing her behind the scenes and just like wearing random things like a skeleton hoodie. Like,
The best.
I don't know. It's iconic behavior.
For real. I love it. Ooh, also, before we bid adieu, you know, this movie was met with mixed reviews.
Right.
However, our man Roger Ebert liked this film.
Yes.
And he says, this is Sofia Coppola's third film centering on loneliness of being female and surrounded by a world that knows how to use you, but not how to value and understand you. I feel like Ebert understands this like Sofia Coppola. Like, I just think he gets it.
He gets it.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I was like worried, you know, that maybe he wouldn't, but I was like, you know, it's Ebert.
He was one of the few that got it, I think.
Few. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. His word means everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
thanks for listening. Rate and review us on Spotify.
Apple. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.